Thank you there to the HasPop EU team. Now we're going to move on to our second team finalists in the third category, and that is Hermix. So we're going to ask them to come on stage and give you the presentation, but as always, first of all, we're going to have a quick look at a video.
We make sense of data for you.
Public sector tendering is a heavy business. It is difficult to understand the market, where and how to apply for funds. But we need public funding, because it's huge.
Hi, I'm Bogdan. I'm a software architect. I love to build products, optimize processes, and create value through software craftsmanship with simple concepts and a personal touch.
I've been doing sales for the public sector for 20 years. Most of these I sold IT projects to the European Commission, and it worked great. We signed tens of millions, but it took me years to learn.
What we propose with Hermix is to automate and transform the public sector marketing and sales.
We have a solid theoretical framework. We use state-of-the-art methods from consumer marketing, business to business. We adapted these methods to the business to government sector. We automate and we innovate.
Overall, we trust it will have an amazing impact on the market.
Hermix will transform access to public funds using data science and big open data.
Hello. Hermix is probably the first marketing analytics platform for the public sector for young entrepreneurs, startups, and researchers. We are different from the portals that publish opportunities, contract notices, including TED, which does a great job in publishing raw primary information. But we do much more than that. We do analytics. We create knowledge out of this data. First of all, I would really like to thank our team. We are much more many than this on the stage. A lot of friends helped, mostly free. Thank you all. So why did we start to work on this? Because the market is absolutely huge. Public procurement in Europe is a 2 trillion euro per year business. Worldwide is 14 trillion. There are 250,000 public authorities that are spending this money throughout Europe at all levels. The research grants are 300 billion in Europe. And you know, in consumer business, in retail, you have hundreds of applications that crunch data. We have Google Analytics, Facebook Analytics, Sales, it's LinkedIn Sales Navigator. They know everything about us as consumers, as businesses, our age, our everything. They profile us, segment us, they use demographics, they use geographics, firmographic segmentation to sell goods. But in the public sector, there's pretty much nothing. So this creates a bit of a distorted market. There are a few players who invest a lot in public sector sales and marketing. And for instance, we analyzed the financial transparency system. And we discovered that just a handful of organizations receive most, like half of European research grants are received by just a handful of organizations, private institutes, research institutes. My university, Co-11, Fraunhofer, Atos, Thales, Max Planck, they get hundreds of millions per year. But then there are 50,000 small companies, startups, that get very little, and a lot of others that get nothing. So what we do market analytics, qualification of opportunities, and proposal automation. This we just started. How? We use a theoretical framework built around government graphics. So it's a type of segmentation of the public sector, especially authorities and contracts, similar to demographics and firmographics in business to business, in consumer retail. We use tools such as data science, data engineering to clean up data.
So this is our architecture. I'm not going to go deep into any technical details. The most important part of our flow is actually ingesting the data. TED data, FTS data, we've already did that. So we've ingested the last 7 years of TED data and FTS, and now we're working on a participant portal and core this data. Why is this important? We're focusing on bringing an insight on the information that's hidden in there. And that's important for the youth, for entrepreneurs, because usually large corporations and large companies have dedicated teams to do this. And bringing this data into a user-friendly, usable app that's easily accessible will bring a lot of valuable insight and information for everybody that wants to go into business right now. The short story, the timeline, we've actually started to work on this idea before the Datathon, and it fitted our idea perfectly. So we started going into it, developed it more, worked with everybody on it, and since October 1st, we're actually live. So we have real customers, of course, a few were at the start, but everything is going according to our plan, and pretty soon we're going to get more information, make it more accessible, and be able to provide more insights than we're providing now.
This summer, we also applied for a few grants. We received a small one. We have another one in evaluation. So hopefully this will also help us. So let's imagine I'm a young entrepreneur or a researcher. I'm working in IT, in software. I'm Stefan. I'm a software developer at heart. So I want to get a grant or a contract in the public sector. What do I need to do first? I need to understand my market. So this is the map of European institutions, for instance. I need to understand where is the money, who's spending in IT, how much, and to understand my competition and potential partners. We use firmographics from B2B for that, so to map competition and partners. We need to look into where are some opportunities and gaps, where are the places where there are lots of money but few players. That's where I want to start. This means I need to analyze the fragmentation and diversification of the market, suppliers and beneficiaries, and authorities. But we actually can show you live. I filmed this 2 days ago from our platform in production. So this is our platform. It's Hermix EU, up Hermix EU. You go, you log in. I repeat, this is in production. I filmed it 2 days ago. So front page shows me an overview of the market, public sector throughout Europe. I have some opportunities that are relevant to me displayed here, but I can go to see the full list. This is the map of all European institutions. This is cleaned up real data. So 15 years of FTS, 7 years of TED, plus some data sets from Eurostat and from the ECB, like exchange rates. We had to clean exchange rates. This is an overview of who's spending things on the market. Mostly from FTS data. It's cleaned up. You see the authorities here. I don't know if, yeah, it should be quite clear. The authorities are cleaned up. So we took the 200 names that are used in all these various data sources for one authority, and we merged them together. This is a map of the competition in IT and partners, and who are the biggest spenders and beneficiaries. You see the typical companies there, of course. Atos, Iris, IBM, and so on. We have the publications office, profile, detailed profile. They do a lot of IT spending. You see all their names, phone numbers that we found in all the data sets. We associated them with OP. We can see their open opportunities. Every night we have an automatic job that imports everything from TED. FTS is yearly. We see, for instance, the details of an opportunity. We match them to the contract award. So you saw there who won that opportunity. These are all the contract awards in 7 years of TED, as I mentioned, and combined with FTS mostly. If we look at one company and we say this could be a good match, for instance, this is NTT. You see it has about 400 companies in this group under different names. You have under the NTT group, which is one of the suppliers of OP. That's what Hermix says. You have companies like Dimension Data or like Everis, but they are in the group of NTT, and for us it is important to show that they are in NTT because they are working together. So for us it should be pretty much the same company. And then you can see, and that was the last slide, for NTT, for the group of companies, it was mentioned the same example earlier about Microsoft. For us, it is important to know that Microsoft Ireland is the same as Microsoft Germany. And maybe with companies with a different name or a different VAT number, because they work together. For us, it is a cluster. We are really excited about this. This is an affinity graph. So we mapped affinities. We mapped the relation between companies and authorities, and we create clusters. And where there is a dense cluster or a subgraph, we know that those guys are working together, or they are, you see this kind of insights. These guys are working together, or this is a preferred supplier, or these are typical competitors. So who do I call for that, and so on. And Hermix will ensure access to public funds for young people. We trust that it will increase transparency and innovation in public procurement. because this is a major policy issue for the European Commission and in general for the public sector, to ensure transparency and wider access, which is not really the case. At this moment, public sector is pretty much an elitist affair. We believe in Hermix. We believe it's a relevant topic. It's an important social and economic need. It's innovative, and we have a validated product which is working. So we trust that, as Hermes was the god, the Greek god of commerce, we trust that Hermix will transform the public sector procurement for young people and researchers in Europe. Thank you.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. A couple of questions. As always, we have a jury member question. What was your biggest challenge in building the app? Now, you mentioned that data cleaning, data hygiene was one of them, but how much time was invested in this versus analytics? Where was the pain point, if you like?
Should I take it?
So there are these two parts. One is in data engineering and cleanup, and the second is in understanding and analytics and creating the know-how and correlations. I would say it's half-half. We spent, I think, the first 3 months we just cleaned up data. We did not start to build the interface. We just worked on data. And not the import, but the associations. Because you have really serious issues on how do you know that IBM Ireland is the same company as International Business Machines Corporation? There is nothing common in these two words. But we have a series of techniques that we use. First of all, we find typos with the distance between words, for instance. You know, you take two words, you measure the distance with some algorithms, and that gives you approximate matches. But then also we use graphs, like we have a number of characteristics of each entity, organization, and in the future also for opportunities, like address, email, web address, web domain. And we see, and we create a score saying the distance between this organization from TED and this organization from FTS is 75. This is a probable match.
And how much of that is automated, and how much of that is sort of manpower and scanning?
We're just a small group of people, so basically most of it is automated. It starts with the loading process that happens automatically every night. After that, there's a series of procedures that run over the data, preparing it to be shipped to live. It usually takes around 2 to 3 hours.
But it's not 100% automated.
Yeah,
it's like 90%. So every night this job works automatically, but there are some approximations where we did not have the courage to let them go automatically. Like these matches, is IBM the same as IB? Well, not really. Yeah. So that we look at it manually.
So there's a human in the mix. Then, you know, they have so many matches. How can the user filter those to what best suits them? And in particular, this is for young people. Is there anything that tailors an opportunity specifically to younger people? And is there an age range there?
It's a bit democratic. I think it's not the age or the gender that is important, but rather the occupation. And until now, we mostly focused on procurement. So this is clearly targeted at young entrepreneurs and startups. They have this disadvantage compared to the big players. So this will level a little bit the field, the same as Airbnb and Booking level the field between hotels. We trust that the newcomers, the young players, will be able to level the field as well. In the future, we started already to clean up 2 years of Cordis, for instance, from the Open Data Portal. It is a bit slow, we still have to work, but there we also want to reach to researchers, because Cordis is research mostly, and the participant portal. So I think the occupation is mostly more relevant than, I would say, age.
Well, thank you very much indeed, and best of luck. Thank you, Team Hermix, ladies and gentlemen. And our final finalists for the